NXT starts off with the Vanity Project. The Vanity Project ended up being technically seen attacking Joe Hendry. Ava ends up catching him with a steel chair. They end up playing it off as if they didn't attack Joe Hendry, which I thought was hilarious because like they're right there with a steel chair. Ava just sees Joe Hendry on the ground. They're just denying that they just magically just had a steel chair and he's just there, which I thought was hilarious. This ends up being a thing throughout the show of Joe Hendry's injured. We don't know if he's going to be in the ladder match. Then later in the show, Ava ends up saying that since she can't prove that the Vanity Project attacked them, that Jackson Drake is just going to be in the ladder match. And she ends up saying that if Joe Hendry ends up getting medically cleared, he's going to be in the ladder match. So I don't understand why we went this route. I like the story that they was going, but the fact that they just made it to where if Joe Hendry is cleared, he would still be in a ladder match. Now there's a possibility that there's going to be 7 people in the match instead of 6, which is very weird. I don't understand. I guess they wanted both guys in the match, but they just didn't want them to. They just didn't want to like eliminate one, which I don't understand because it's like, really though, you couldn't figure out a way to have one of them have another match again. I'm just saying, I like the people they put in the ladder match. I just didn't think this way was necessary because if you're just gonna have 7 people, you could have just made the match originally 7 people. You didn't need to make it 6. It's not a guarantee. It's not a rule to make it 6 people in a ladder match. Like there's been ladder matches with 8 people, right? Like there's no way that it's always been 6. Like you could have easily made it 7 if you really wanted to. I don't think this was really necessary, but they went this direction anyway. And speaking of the other tournament matches, we end up getting Miles Bourne and Deep versus Dion qualifying match for the NXT Championship for the NXT Championship ladder match. This was a fine. The wrestling on tonight's show is not that good, if we're being honest. But overall, the story they was really telling her was Ethan Page is still in the ear of Miles Bourne before the match. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page is trying to tell him that he just needs to pull the trigger. He needs to finally pull the trigger. Miles Bourne is showing like this new aggressive side of him. He ends up losing the match due to Ethan Page. Ethan Page tries to help by giving him his North American Championship, distracts the ref, but the ref ends up seeing Miles Bourne, and Miles Bourne ends up getting caught. This allowed Dion to end up taking advantage and pick up the victory. After the match, you end up getting Ethan Page. He confronts Miles Bourne, ends up saying that it's all his fault, that he wasn't ready, he didn't pull the trigger. That Miles Bourne ends up attacking Ethan Page. So it looks like we're getting an Ethan Page and Miles Bourne feud. That's the only thing that makes sense here, because Miles Bourne don't go after Ethan Page for the North American Championship. I don't understand what we're doing here. Now, at first, I didn't like the idea of him losing this match, but I'm assuming that they're going to keep Miles Bourne a babyface, just give him a bit more of an edge. If that's the case, I'm actually cool with it. It makes his character a bit more interesting. We'll see where this goes. Does he beat Ethan Page for the North American Championship? I honestly do not know at all because Ethan Page, every time I assume he's going to get dethroned, he just wins. Like every time I make a prediction that he's going to lose, he just holds it for longer. So I'm just going to assume that this is just something for Ethan Page to do because I can't bet against Ethan Page anymore. So I don't mind if Miles Bourne wins, to be honest with you, but I'm just going to assume and be safe and assume that this is just a short-term thing where Miles Bourne is getting a little push, but he's eventually going to lose to Ethan Page, and then eventually he may turn heel later down the road. And as for the last qualifying match for the NXT ladder match, we end up getting Keanu Carter versus Andre Chase. This played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. This match was just simply set up for Keanu Carter just to dominate. This match felt like it took forever. It only went like 4 minutes, but it felt a lot longer. They was giving Andre Chase actual offense in this match, which I don't understand why. It's Andre Chase. I don't get it. But Keanu Carter ends up picking up the victory. So now we got the official match. We got the official card for the NXT ladder match. We got Dion Lennox, Joe Hendry potentially, Shaolin Hill, Sean Legacy, Ricky Saints, and Jackson Drake. Okay. I like the participants. The only person I feel like who don't need to be in this match is Shaolin Hill. That's the only person I'm like, why is he in this match? It just feels so random that he's in this match. I like anybody to win this match outside of him, if I'm being honest. Now, who's going to win? I think it's going to be Ricky Saints or Joe Hendry. I think Joe Hendry will be in the match because like, why tease that he might be in the match if you just don't want him in the match? Just say he's not medically clear, but they still have him potentially being in the match. So I would have I think Ricky Saints probably is the best choice here, or Joe Hendry, if I'm being honest. I think the other guys can use a little bit more development. I know a lot of people are high on Keanu Carver. I like Keanu, but I feel like I still need to see more from him, if I'm being honest. More in ring, see him against other guys, to be honest. Jackson Drake is a dark horse. I love Jackson. I like the Vanity Project. The Vanity Project is amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. I would love if they pull a trigger on Jackson Drake. That would be great. I like the idea. Dion Lennox, I'm a little bit lower on that now, mainly because I'm just lower on Dark State, to be honest with you, because I just don't see the vision. I just don't see the vision with Dark State. They're not a bad group. They're just a very mid group. But to be fair, I think their booking just sucks because they have no tag division. That's a huge part. But I just don't know. I'm not feeling the Dark State group. Shaolin Hill, I'm not going to really discuss that much. I'm just not a fan. I just don't think that's just a good decision. Sean Legacy is a solid choice. I think he needs to get a couple more matches, get more over with the crowd. But from a character standpoint, from an in-ring, he is one of the better options in my opinion. But if it ain't going to be Joe Hendry or Ricky Saints, then Jackson Drake, in my opinion, is the best available option. We do end up getting an NXT Tag Team Championship match between OTM and Dark State. This was a fine match. Dark State ended up picking up the victory due to the Vanity Project interfering in this match. Then you get all the other teams, they come out. It led to a brawl, everyone brawls, and it led to the calling standing tall towards the end due to their promise they made to Izzy Dane. This was whatever to me. I don't really care. You end up getting Chase U, they got out there. You end up getting Hank and Tank. I understand why they went this route. I don't really care because they've done this before with the tag team division like 2 months ago, where they randomly had all the tag teams brawl, and I made it a deal that this could potentially be something new and something exciting for the men's tag team division, but it led to nothing really. So I'm not getting my hopes up for this. And also, why would the Vanity Project come out and cost OTM the tag team titles? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense from a logical perspective to cost OTM when they have no history with them. I just feel like the reasoning didn't make much sense because it doesn't make sense for a heel faction in Vanity Project to help another heel faction. That didn't make no sense to me. That was just confusing, and then it led to everyone brawl. It is what it is. We'll see how this unfolds. Do I really care? No, because the NXT men's tag division just completely sucks, if I'm being honest. It just sucks, to be honest, which is very unfortunate, but it's garbage. We end up getting a women's singles match between Jada Parker and Nikita Lyons. This match ended up becoming a thing due to Blake Monroe ends up mentioning her problem with Jada Parker. Nikita Lyons stepped in, basically she ends up stepping in the spot of saying that she'll take care of her problems. So it looks like we potentially see a new alliance with Jada Parker and Nikita Lyons. This match was whatever. It wasn't a bad match. Jada Parker picked up the victory, of course. Then after the match, Blake gets on a Titantron, basically said that she will be coming after Jada Parker soon. This was fine for what it was, which we got to see more, but I'm assuming we didn't get to see that much due to the Royal Rumble. But at the same time, I highly doubt that the women that they're going to use for the Royal Rumble are already in Saudi. I highly doubt that. But yeah, all the top women that you typically would see weren't on tonight's show. Don't know why. But I guess it was mainly just to fill out the men's NXT ladder match. I'm assuming that's the reason why. This was fine for what it was. Also, can we please stop the Jada Parker and Nikita Lyons hate? Like, I get the Jada Parker hate is very weird. I know a lot of Twitter fans hate on her because she's transphobic, even though she's not. It's very weird. Nikita Lyons, the hate, I never understood it. It just feels forced. Like, she's not that bad. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't. There are way worse women's wrestlers I've seen. Like, I don't understand it. From a character and in she's not even that bad. She's not. I think she's actually decent from a character perspective, if I'm being honest. Her in-ring, no, it's not great, but it's not fucking terrible. Like, I've seen worse wrestlers. Like, I don't understand why Nikita Lyons get that much hate. Jada Parker hate is incredibly forced as well, but it's due to the whole transgender stuff, which, again, very forced. It's just fake outrage. But the Nikita Lyons stuff is extremely forced. I just don't understand what you guys are seeing that is making y'all hate her that much. I don't get it. Anytime Nikita Lyons is on TV, Twitter just goes into uproar. I don't understand. Like, she's not that bad, bro. There are way worse wrestlers I can name that are way worse. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. Hopefully next week we get more Jada Parker and Blake Monroe having more of an interaction with each other. Now, we end up getting a Tony D'Angelo segment. Ava ends up bailing Tony D'Angelo out, ends up basically saying that NXT needs him, which is very weird because apparently NXT didn't need him months ago because he's been on TV for months, but apparently we didn't need him then. But she ends up saying that NXT needs him and that basically that everyone is in it for themselves, which I find weird. It's like, no shit, like you're supposed to be in it for yourself, but okay. And then she ends up basically telling Tony that do not interfere in the ladder match because Tony D'Angelo ends up saying that he's going to reveal his reasoning for everything next week. Okay, so we're finally going to get an explanation, I hope, because I am sick and tired of this silent gimmick that he's having because it's not interesting. It makes no sense. I'm just curious to see what's his reason. Now, the ladder match, he's going to interfere in the ladder match. The fact that she literally said, don't interfere in the ladder match, tells me he's going to fucking interfere in the ladder match. Like, I don't know why they said that, because he's definitely going to interfere in it, which I don't like, because it's like, bro, you already been attacking random people for no reason. So it's like, now you're going to interfere in a ladder match and potentially cost someone the match, which is going to make less sense because he's been attacking everyone, heels and faces. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm hoping that they have a good explanation, but I highly doubt it because the things he's been doing makes no sense, to be honest. So we'll see how it plays out, but I have no hopes for this storyline because, my God, I just don't understand it. And the last thing I do want to talk about is the Zaria potential heel turn. We end up getting a segment where she was talking to Soruka. Soruka wasn't there. She gets frustrated. Thea tries to comfort her, but Zaria is not hearing it. They have a match. Thea Hill ends up picking up the victory due to the interference of Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. This is one of the things that I kind of don't understand, but I do get it. I'm a bit disappointed that Zaria lost because she should be booked way more dominantly, but she loses every goddamn match at NXT. Now, they do protect her in this instant, but my only thing is they end up doing the interference route of Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame. But then now I understand why they went this route, mainly because you need Thea Hill to get a victory, but at the same time, it's like, does Thea Hill really need the victory? Because it's like, you're already teasing an Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley feud, so we know she's not winning next week. We know that Lola Vice and Thea Hill not winning because you're already teasing another feud. So why do you give Thea Hill the win when I know she's going to lose anyway? That's just my thought process. Now, Zaria does attack Thea Hill after the match because Fatal Influence tries to attack her, but they end up leaving the area. So they are teasing like a more aggressive and ruthless version of Zaria, so hopefully we get more of that. But I just don't think Zaria needed to lose here. You could have had Zaria win the match. You could have protected Thea Hill by an injury angle, if I'm being honest. Could have played an injury angle similar to what you did with Tavion Heights earlier in the show. That would have been better because I don't think Thea Hill needed the victory here because she's going to lose next week because you're already teasing another feud. That's just me personally. If they didn't tease the Izzy Dame and Tatum stuff, I actually would have liked this. But the fact that you're already teasing another feud for the North American Championship, it's like Thea Hill didn't need to win here. You could have just gave the win to Zaria by an injury angle. Then you could have her attack Thea Hill after the match the same way you did before. Everything still plays out the same. But we'll see how this eventually unfolds. I'm not going to get my hopes up because I've been wanting this turn to happen for a while, but they've been doing basically the Judgment Day. This is basically the Judgment Day of NXT, if we're being honest. So we'll see how it plays out. Overall show was not good. It was not a good show. The in-ring wrestling was not that good because majority of the good wrestlers weren't on tonight's show. Even for the men, all the men that are great wrestlers didn't get to wrestle tonight. Unfortunately, as much as I like some of these wrestlers on the main roster, they put the most mid wrestlers on in all their qualifying matches on tonight's show. So overall show was not that good. It was very mid, but you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.